Hey, welcome to How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. The old name of our podcast, it is now Love the Bomb.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that.
Yeah, we talk about performers' worst nightmares on stage bombing. I'm Luke Fagenbush.
I'm Lauren Hutton. With us this week,
Breezy Lee.
yeah.
Barely made it out of that intro, man.
We did it. Like, it was very
It was
rocky.
good.
We were in the barrel for a bit.
I don't know if it was good, but
Hold on.
made
What
it
kind of barrel are we talking about?
Oh, we were surfing.
Like-
we were about to get submerged.
Oh, I
but then
got
we made
you.
it to the-
Okay,
yeah.
I was like, hold on. All
I
of
was
us in
feeling a
orange barrel?
Niagara
I'm a
Falls
big
barrel.
surfer. I've never done it or talked about it before, but that's who I
Hey,
am now.
Half of you looks like you would do that.
What did we talk about this episode? Talk about how you got started in comedy in your 20s.
Yeah.
And then you got started in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Many different hands and many different pots, right?
Oh my God, so much trauma.
And-
We were just talking about a rap career.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about all kinds of shit. Origin stories. Yeah.
Oh, fuck,
you guys
yeah.
listen to me? That's awesome. I
oh,
appreciate
no.
it.
It was so much fun talking
Thanks for
to
coming
you.
on
Like,
and talking.
seriously.
Sticking around for the Patreon.
I'm
Got
just-
some
We
drama
recorded
out.
like an hour and a half total.
Really?
That
It
was-
didn't even feel like
No,
that.
it didn't.
At least, yeah. Like, the break was only like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Let's
well,
not
that was...
like
Dissect that now
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
intro.
Yeah.
That's still
Hey,
currently
the intro,
happening.
yeah. Sorry, guys.
it's good too. It's
Enjoy
not,
the app. Wait, do you have
Wait.
socials and stuff? That's an important thing to
Oh
do.
yeah, I have an Instagram page that is Breezy Lee 513. I'm pretty sure. Hold on, I'll double check. Yeah, it's Breezy Lee 513.
Hell yeah.
Cincy strong.
Yes, and I also have a Twitter that I rarely get on because I always forget about it.
Hell yeah,
It's
me
just
too.
so much.
If you
It's
find
so
her,
much.
maybe it's a good read.
Yeah,
it's probably a
good
exactly.
read.
Yeah, I think it's Breezy Lee 513 on Twitter.
Hell
as
yeah.
Well, just because I was like, I want to make it whatever. I just try to talk to Christina Tosi
And
on
you'll
there.
be
And
in Chicago soon?
yes, I will actually be in Chicago. I actually screenshot this.
Nice.
I'm doing a game show, comedy game show on Saturday, May 13th at Step Right Up at Lincoln Lodge, and then Monday for
love
VAs. Have you been there?
I have for one open mic.
Oh
yeah.
I just saw
That's
Stavros
awesome.
Halkias like sitting in the corner, and I was like, "Oh, are you Stavros Halkias?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Cool."
See, Lloyd knows more about comedy than me. Like, he watches more comedy than me, and like, he'll be like, "Oh, have you watched?" Da-da-da?" And I'm like, and then he's like, "Have you seen this?" I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
like, and there's so many. There's so many.
there's
and
far
it
too
changes
many. Like,
every time.
all the
Yeah.
time. Like it's crazy that there's still people that I know from when I started, you know, that are
Right.
that I still see places and stuff. And so like I try to follow, but like but okay, that's awesome. So then I'll be at Jokes on Division at
I
Butch
thought we were just going to do a
McGuire's.
whole nother podcast.
I know,
there for
I
a
was like,
second.
son of a bitch.
The fact that you caught that
I
and dealt with it in
know.
the best way possible.
Such a good guess.
I tried. I was like, no.
That's a figure skater in you, and that's a call forward.
Boom. Where's the next day?
Woo! So the next one is Jokes on Division at Butch McGuire's on
Hell yeah.
5/15, and that is VA's 40th birthday party. So if anyone wants to come up to Chicago, you'll probably see me cry because all my favorite comics are from Chicago, and just the fact that I'll be standing there, I'm gonna be like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, so if you're in the area, like, come check it out. That'd be cool. It's not that far of a drive. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, the world's not that big.
No,
Make a day of it.
it's less far than Gatlinburg. Come on.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Enjoy the episode, everybody.
Think on that. Maybe pause it. Wild.
When I laugh and I move move my
You're
body
gonna pop
4
off
feet.
camera wherever.
Yeah, it's not gonna matter. It's not
I'm a
gonna
laugh
matter.
convulser too. It's
Great.
fine.
So whenever we tell a joke and we try and get a clip, it's going to be two people off frame and me being like,
Like,
they're
sorry
gone.
guys, shit knocking over. It's fine. Whatever.
They're on the floor right now.
Yeah, like my bad.
Have you ever like fallen over laughing because you lost your balance doing that?
I think I've run into more shit laughing than actually falling. Like one time I broke my pinky toe because I had this like old. I was in one of these old houses in Northside. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
So like I don't think they redid anything, and like it was one of those old like banisters with the spindles.
Oh.
And someone said something hilarious, and I jerk react, laughed, ran into this thing with like half of my body, part of my elbow, and my toe. And I'm like, I don't even know.
Oh, you
how-
spasmed.
Yeah, yeah. It was a laugh. It was a laugh
I
spasm.
thought you were going to just like shoot your hand out and like break your finger or something, but no, you just body slammed a
Yeah, I was
banister.
like, oh, and like I'm like. I definitely just broke like my fucking toe. Like it was terrible.
Sorry, I'm just remembering all the times that I've run into things. Broken toe, same story.
Just in the past
Yeah.
24 hours. Like,
Yeah,
No. I'm more stable on my feet as an adult. I swear.
yeah, yeah. I tell myself that too. All the time. But
Oh, man.
it's Skyline though. Like I have to dodge people all the time because if you guys have ever been into Skyline when it's
Yeah.
like super busy,
It's wild in there.
and like
The floors get slippery for no reason.
Oh, there. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say no reason. There tends to be giant brown splatters sometimes.
it's
that,
just covered in chili.
oh man,
yeah.
like dodging toddlers when you have multiple bowls of chili on a tray during like the holiday season when everyone
Nope.
is in town. You have to have a level of like ice skate, like Olympian ice skater agility, like and like reactions, and the parents will just be like, "Sorry."
Oh yeah, my bad.
You're
We're
like-
just bad at parenting.
Yeah, I almost just
I nailed the
like,
dismount, so
Judges gave me 9 points across the board. It's fine. It's
holding up
fine.
Yeah.
High five the kid on your way
Like,
back to the back.
Yeah, they're like, good job. I'm just like, meanwhile, I have like
flip.
sweat just
Yeah.
covered in seconds. Like, yeah, I almost just disfigured your child for
I
life.
will Tanya Harding your child.
Oh, like, whoops. Yeah.
I've blasted children in the face spinning keys on a lanyard, you know, because they're at
Careful with
that
that
level.
sentence.
It was like,
There's more words after
Yeah.
face.
Yes, with a
There's-
lanyard.
Yeah.
Important.
I remember being like a little kid at the like Phillips Swim Club on the west side, and I was just sitting there with my head on the edge, and the lifeguard was twirling his whistle
Oh no.
and beamed me right in the face with that whistle, and I was like,
Have you just always been accident prone?
oh,
Or you-
I have two older brothers. I was like just used to getting like hurt, like because like my older brother Ryan, he tried to hang me off of our bunk beds when I was like 4. And I remember him tying a belt around my neck and pushing me off the side.
That doesn't sound
That's
like an
extreme.
accident.
Yeah, no. So it's always like, we're like spy versus spy. Like it was like, but then we would also team up with each other when necessary.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, but it was like I have a machete scar on my shin
Oh,
from
man.
him. Well, you know, sometimes when someone's swinging a machete, you don't walk up behind them and go boom. And at like 12, I was like, this is totally acceptable. We can do this.
How is your real life like the opening to Dewey Cox? What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Dude.
The worst case of not a foot on a leg that I've ever
Right?
seen.
yes. Oh my god. That is one of the best movies though.
An unsung hero
Very
of comedy.
underrated.
Like I can't believe more people haven't seen that movie. Like even
Right?
the young, like because I'm one of the oldest people in my job. So like these kids will be talking about these kids will be talking about these movies, and I'm like, have you seen Dewey Cox? Well, and they're like, what? I'm like,
Did you just ask if we wanted pizza? Dewey what?
Yeah, exactly.
no
So,
child.
Yeah, we just. It's funny too because my boyfriend has a daughter who's 20. So like we'll be, talking to her about like, if you watch this, I'm always the one that's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like
Classic, iconic.
like Christy Swanson Buffy. And she's like, oh no, I've never seen that. I'm like, oh, we got to watch this for sure. So I'm like, I feel like we could just bestow wisdom for just
Show them the way.
Yes, yes,
The
like,
way of 90s television.
yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
What was your like absolute favorite binge watch show from the 90s? Because you couldn't binge watch that shit before, and now it's entirely stackable.
Yeah, you just gotta burn through a DVD.
Yeah, well,
like,
honestly, for me, it just depended on if my dad had stolen cable for the month.
There you go.
Because we had the
Okay.
box, we had the illegal box that sometimes worked and sometimes didn't. So sometimes we'd have HBO. And then the next month, you're like, oh, just Fox, huh? All right.
I'm a PBS kid for a week
Yeah,
until that box.
Yeah, exactly. That thing starts working again. We're going to be Nickelodeon in this bitch. But
I asked you what your favorite binge show was, and you were like, April 1994, we had
yes.
HBO and all the other channels.
The box stayed true for about 3
Yeah,
weeks.
you know
Best
what-
3 weeks of my life.
right? And you know what honestly stayed more consistent than anything, I think, was Saved by the Bell. Because it was like, there was episodes on that on Star 64
Yep.
always came in.
Yup.
So and plus it was like local. So you were like, hey man, I know where Surf Cincinnati is. Yes.
Wait.
Like,
Saved by the Bell's local?
no, like Star 64.
Oh,
And
okay.
they ran
Thought I
Saved by
missed
the
a
Bell like
big
every
thing.
day. Every
It was
day.
their one big spend.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. And now, we got Zach Morris's Trash, which I absolutely love. So, have you ever
Zach
heard?
Morris is trash.
Yeah, it's Zach Morris's Trash. You've never seen this?
No.
Oh
We need to
my
get on
god.
Star 64.
It's clips where they break down how awful Zach Morris actually is, like just shitty things he did to Screech.
And this
times-
runs on Star 64?
It used to.
No shit.
Saved by the Bell did. Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
he really was like just a manipulative asshole, and they like break it down in these segments. I think Funny or Die had it, but it is
That's so wild.
they're fantastic because as a little kid in the 90s I was like, man, Zach Morris is awesome. But if you listen to my jokes, daddy issues. So of course I like the really shitty guy.
I was wondering how long have you been doing comedy? That's kind of a dumb question. You ask every comedian,
people.
but I honestly don't know for you.
No, well, a lot of people just met me this past
Right,
year.
that was me.
Our take on that as well.
Exactly, because and then it was funny because I would show up and I'd do a set and someone would be like, "How long have you been doing comedy?"
Isn't that a fun question when
Yeah,
it's
and
got
I'm
a
like-
little bit of a thorn on it?
Yeah,
It's like you
yeah.
have no right
I
to
don't
be like that.
trust this.
Right? Yes, I'm like, because it's kind of like you're better than a lot of so what? Something's here. I think just with my level of comfortability,
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
just
like,
walked on stage.
but I've always deflected with humor because of how I grew up and shit,
Yeah.
and my dad being who he was, because he was an asshole, but he was a local radio personality. So
That's right.
so I
that's
watched.
interesting.
So I watched people worship this dude. Meanwhile, I'm standing behind this motherfucker. Y'all don't even know.
He left the seat up today.
And,
I fell in. I didn't look first. It was an awful morning.
right.
Were you around studio stuff when you were younger?
Man, I grew up because he reported the traffic for WBN. He was Skyfrog Traffic.
That's what he did.
So he
probably heard him.
yeah, his radio name was Mad Dog. I grew up in helicopters. I would go up with him. I got to
Whoa.
meet Pantera when I was 4 or 5 years. Dude, the first time I went down in a mosh pit, I was 4 years old on my aunt's shoulders, and it was Pantera. And
Soon after
yeah,
learning
so,
to walk, they're like, "Here's expert mode."
yeah. So I had a crazy upbringing that a lot of people weren't privy to, you
Yeah,
know,
it
and
sounds like it.
and so but it was I also had, it was shitty at the same time, and so I've always deflected with humor, and he is funny. He's an asshole, but he's funny. And my mom's funny, and she's a big personality. And like, I love writing. I've loved writing my whole life, and like, and so when people have been laughing at me, I always loved people laughing with me, or me. When you get bullied, like at your home as a kid, and you realize you feel the laughs that don't feel good. You can tell the difference between laughs that feel good and laughs that don't feel good. And so when I would control how those laughs felt, because like I had a giant gap in my teeth, like I was super chunky. Like, so I had these big physical, that's why I hate when people like make fun of people's looks, because to me, is someone who can do some writing and really loves and appreciates good premise, and it's just so easy. It's a cop-out. I'm like, oh, you can see something. I'm like, how about attack a psychological thing that you know is gonna like that lets you know, no, I'm paying attention to your entire self. But that's why I tell my boyfriend all the time, I'm like, I use my powers for good, man. Like, because I'm like, laugh with me. And then when I realized a lot of my favorite, because I love movies, like when you were talking about what's your favorite binge show, we had binge VHSs because we always had movies. Like I remember when the VHS would finally cut out, and you're like, no,
the last legs. Why did the ribbon snap?
I'm like, yes.
Indiana Jones spools out, and you're like, no, that was the last time, Indy.
Yes. So like, but at the time, like I'm like, man, I would love to do something with movies. I would love to, and I've been writing forever. I was like, I could write the screenplays, like I could write stories, and a bunch of my favorite like writers were also directors of these movies at the time. So and they had started by doing stand up. So I was 20 years old, like doing like this comedy thing workshop with Jeff Jenna down at Newport Funny Bone. Like,
how did you find out about it?
Someone had told me, like they were like, because people just kept telling me I was funny. People just were always like, you're so funny. And I know I'm going to have to deal with this name my entire life. And like that.
May as well do something with it.
Exactly, because he was
already like a radio person. Did he have to give you like that name and just nail in the coffin on stand-up comedian?
Yes. Well, then to always have people like, while he was on the radio, he was arrested for drug trafficking.
Oh.
So like it was all over the news. It was like
those helicopters were going places.
How old were you when that happened?
So funny. I actually asked my mom about the whole experience because I knew that there was a team of people that came to our house because someone had snitched on my dad. And I wanted to know if I slept through the experience as a child, because I sleep through anything. Like anything. If I'm out, like once that switch is off, it is off. I shut down unless someone needs me. If it's an emergency, I'll be up, and trauma. I'm like, what? Something fucked up?
We'll get sleep where we can.
Yeah, but it jackhammer, fuck it. It don't concern me. I'm out.
None of my loved ones are in danger. It's fine.
Yeah. My mom's like, so I was like, how old was I when the SWAT team came? And she goes, it wasn't SWAT, Breezy. It was ATF. No, not ATF. DEA. DEA. That's what it was.
Keep going.
Yeah, see, I was. And she corrected herself. I said ATF because I knew what that stood for. She goes, no, DEA. DEA. And then I was like, okay, whatever. I'm like, did I sleep through it? And she was thinking about it, and she goes, yeah. Yeah, you did actually, because Grandma and Grandpa were over, and I had to hand you off to Grandma while you were sleeping. And because my grandma always liked to tell the story when I was little.
Like in arms. You were
I was like 14 months old or something.
Whoa!
And because my grandma liked to always tell the story of, I remember when your parents got arrested. You cried all night long. Oh my God! You hated formula. And then I got mad at my mom.
It was probably more the one thing than the formula.
Yeah, like, somebody disappeared, man. I can smell it. Like, or don't smell it. Whatever. Like, so like, but I knew that like I'm like, okay, I want to do something with this. And everyone who I knew, who I really liked in movies, a bunch of them started out as stand-up comics. And at the time, it was Judd Apatow. He was like,
Okay.
boom.
Yeah.
Because 40-Year-Old Virgin is one of my absolute favorite movies on the face of the planet.
Okay.
It is just because of the level of improv of those people.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that movie was
oh,
heavily improvised.
so much of it is like just like the whole waxing scene. That's really what's going on.
I didn't know that.
That is
Whoa, that's
like
practical?
that. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's really. You see the blood.
It's so thick.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because if you think about it in that scene, because it's the what's his one? I can't remember his name. He's the bald dude that like he tells him he needs to get waxed.
Oh yeah, his coworker.
It's his idea. And
Yeah.
think about it during the part, he can't even stay in for it. He leaves the room. He's like, I can't even watch this shit anymore. And Paul Rudd's over there like making these
course it
faces that are just like, yes, like, because after you've watched faces for a really long time, I love genuine faces on people. Like,
that knee-jerk reaction.
Yes.
When that
just-
first half a second.
yes,
When
like
you catch someone off guard.
yes, they're the best.
Did you hear the story about Parks and Rec where it was Chris Pratt was supposed to be on the other side of a door naked and they had like a sock on his dick and then she kept like not getting the reaction they were wanting and Chris Pratt turns around and he's like, guys, I'm gonna do this one snake out. And that's the take thing. It's like her seeing a human dick. Like
I think that's fantastic. Like if you got people that can work like that,
and he knew he could like trust her and
Exactly.
stuff
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it wouldn't
that's
like
important.
yeah,
jump a boundary, but it's so funny.
right?
I'm gonna do this one snake out.
Yes.
Just hearing Chris Pratt's voice say that is so good.
Did you first like come into contact with comedians through them being actors that way?
Yes.
So
yes.
you didn't see like Judd Apatow stand up.
No.
You you kind of sought out stand up because you saw the movie.
Yeah. Well, okay. I've always had a certain appreciation for stand up because like back in the like one of my mom's jobs was she was a cocktail waitress at the Funny Bone.
Okay.
And when my father got out of prison, they actually owned a limousine company called Breezy Limousine, and they would like pick up comics.
If this was a writer's room, they would stop you and be like, "That's too much."
I know.
You've already
like,
done that's
pick
4
three
shows.
Yeah,
things.
I'm like,
Pick
why
3
do
things.
you guys do this to me? But they would actually pick up comics from the airport with the limousine service.
Okay.
Like my
Yeah.
mom, I was like, she told me one time like Roseanne Barr knocked out a bottle of wild turkey like from the airport to the club. Like just no problem. And then I thought as a 5th grader, I remember having a Jeff Foxworthy CD. Because
Hell yeah.
I know
That's
one
a
of my,
good grade for that.
right?
You, Luke.
I didn't even think about that shit. That's fantastic. But I thought it was for some reason. I think Jeff Foxworthy does. He just has little kids like him, whatever. And I've always I don't know. I do a joke where like I talk about my people being hoodbillies because like we grew up like Luke. Y'all know Luke Young.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're from the same like part of town.
Yeah, you
like,
both are like lifelong
okay.
Cincinnati people.
Yeah, and what's funny is I just made the connection the other day that I actually grew up with Luke's older brother. And like, yeah, because his grandma lived right in front of me, like down, because yes, I grew up in Price Hill, but I also grew up in South Fairmount, which a lot of people don't even know where that is, but it's like a worse Price Hill. Like it's like it's that far apart that they call each other different names. They're like, no, that's the hill. This is South Fairmount. And like So like, but my dad actually grew up with like Luke's dad and Luke's like
That's so
uncles and shit.
wild.
And I just put it together. They have the same last name. They all have red hair. I never even just oblivious as hell. And then he's talking about shit one day, and I'm like, hold on a second. I wonder. And even today, I was like, Mom, like my mom and my brother were at the communion thing, and I'm like, Did Stevie have a little brother named Luke? And they both turn around and go, yeah. And I was like, well, I had no idea. So
Small world.
I know. But like, so but with the comedy, like I had these introductions just little by little. All these people are always around when I was a little kid.
It's like a breadcrumb trail.
I
leading to
know,
stand-up.
but ADHD. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it took me a while to get around to it.
Yeah. I'm going to a shrink soon. Don't worry.
What was like your first experience with stage? Like,
I did like, does me doing like Romeo and Juliet in junior high count?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a stage.
Okay.
How many laughs did you get?
Oh. Are you talking? Hold on. How sad girl should we go?
My death scene was 15 minutes long.
Let's put it this way. The teacher really liked me, and I really loved Juliet, and I felt very passionate about it. And at the time, I was a very chunky, not attractive teenager. So the boy who was Romeo didn't want to kiss me. So
Aw.
he put his hand over my mouth and kissed his hand. And so like for me it's like, yeah, I made it, I was Juliet, but that's kind of like burned there.
Oh no!
But
That's a forever scar.
Yeah.
that's the tragedy, guys. If anything were Shakespearean, there it be.
That's so much more sad than two dead kids. Like,
But then you get older and you're like, stupid teenage idiot.
You're right. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, you know what pain is.
did you keep going with theater, or was your next?
Well, I was in stage crew. Like I
Okay.
did stage crew stuff. It was
You didn't wander far.
yeah, not too far. Like, but I always like to be around everything. It was like I never really thought I was pretty enough. And that
What do you
kind of
mean by
stuff.
everything?
Like just like music. Like I've been in like I always knew someone who was performing somewhere or
Okay.
who was involved with a show going on somewhere. So it would either be, hey Breezy, come up here and sing a song with us, or like just hanging out at radio stations or going to shows through the radio.
That
or
was
like,
kind of your clan.
yeah,
Shows, like
like,
performers.
Yeah, like just and I just knew like I was always comfortable like talking to people and stuff, which you know I'm still in the fucking service industry, so like and
Doing it every day.
yeah, doing
2
it
to
all
6
the time.
people at a time.
Oh
every 30
god,
minutes.
hoping
Yep.
for that $5 bill, just you know, chugging along. But like, so it's always, I think it's always been. But like last year when I went back to school, like I finally was like, man, I can't. I want health benefits. I'm getting older and shit. Like I'm like I can do this. So I decided I was going to go back to school and go back to comedy and see how both turn out.
Oh.
So you're throwing them up in the air. Seeing
Yeah, like, and just seeing how it changed, if it had changed from when I first got on stage at 20, and I'm 37 now. So, like,
okay.
How
You were
long-
20.
20
Yeah.
when I first started doing stand up. Like the first time I ever got on stage, like the guy Jeff Jenna down in Newport Funny Bone, he would write permission slips for me to get into shows.
Oh shit!
Like I took my brother to go see Harlan Williams, and it was one of the best things I've ever, like he's so funny, and just his sounds I laugh mostly at people's sounds. I love noise effects from people, like any type of shit like that kills me.
Big Michael
That's
Williams
funny.
fan then.
Anyone who just randomly, who just is unabashedly an ass just by just I love freakouts. I do. But like I remember walking up to the ticket booth like, Jeff Jenna wrote me a note to get in. And they're like looking at the thing like, I'm like, I'm not 21. Sorry.
Put something on my wrist and let me inside, please.
Yeah, but then I got pulled into like doing improv stuff at the time with a couple groups, and I ended up opening up for Afro Man a couple times.
Whoa.
As a comedian, like I was like 22. But then I was in a rap group, and I talk about that on the stage.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I opened up for Jeffree Star, like when I was in
You
the
were
rap
making some
group.
moves.
Yeah, like I was like, and then that friend.
That was like 2 years in, too.
Yeah, that was
That's what
like.
I'm saying. Like, just
like-
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we were really white girls.
SWAT,
Was like.
ATF, DEA.
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
escalations.
yes. We're all about we keep it up and up.
Afro Man loves that DA.
Yeah. But it was just funny because like, you know, I've always loved rap. I've always loved rap music, and I think I myself am like a walking misdirection. Like people look at me and they think one thing, and then they hear me speak and they're like, "Not what I expected." Nope.
The rap thing, even though I knew it, kind of caught me off guard because you went comedy, improv, and I'm like, okay, and then rap.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that how it happened
Rap.
to you? You were
I
just
mean,
like-
I honestly, music has always been a huge part of my life, and my father hated that his kids loved rap. Like hated it.
weird for a radio guy.
Yeah. Oh, I
mean-
it was all about lyrics for him, lyrical content, like gross
okay.
lyrical content. Because like on my one joke, I talk about like knowing Eazy-E lyrics. That's some real shit. Like me walking outside being like, "Give me that nut," and him being like, "What the fuck did you just say?" I was like, "Give me that nut." Why are you so mad?
Why are you making me say it again?
I
dude?
know. Like obviously you don't like it. Like shit. But
Repeat that thing that made me angry.
yeah.
How many times are we going to do this?
Yes. But one of the chicks in Really White Girls, she wasn't prepared for it actually being like a thing that people like. We started getting a following, like, and we were 24.
What was the name of your?
Really White Girls?
Okay.
And that was
Just wanted to
specifically
clock
Right,
that.
just-
Make sure.
only because at that time, I mean, this was 2009. This was all my brother's friends, all these black dudes who would hear me rap would be like, "That white girl can rap." Like that white girl could spit. Like I was always that white girl. So I was like, I'm just going to call a spade here. And we're just going to say Really White Girls because
Everybody
clearly
else does.
I'm not Marshall Mathers. I'm not a freestyle champion. I'm good at writing raps, but it really is. And that's why we took it to the extreme we did. Because I'm like, if I'm doing this, I'm going to show you I like to do it. But I'm going to have to get your attention with some off the wall ass content. But it worked, and my own mom was in the front row like, "I fucked your dad, bitch." And I'm like, "You shut up." Like,
Can
this
we
ain't
move her a
about
few
you.
rows back? please?
Yeah.
How does starting raps work? Are there rap open mics you go to? What?
No, it really just if you had a booth, which in my house,
I think it starts with a pad and a pen.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
could
down
be
in the
wrong,
lab.
but I've heard that.
yes. Or a converted closet, which was what we had. Like my brother had hung up like a plexiglass window with like a
hell yeah.
drywall door, and like had put padding on the inside.
Oh,
And
yes, full DIY
yeah,
studio.
and
I love it.
He himself is Microsoft certified, so he like knew how to do all the stuff. But like,
Okay.
yeah. But I even knew a joke about like how he was like, "Nah, I'm out." As soon as we did a song about good head, he was like, "I ain't listening to my sister talking about sucking dick."
I can't mix this.
Yeah, he's like,
can't.
he's like, "I gotta draw a line. This where it is." And I'm like, all right, man, sounds good.
I'm gonna do as much as I can for you, apart from listening to that 30 times
exactly.
to make sure it's
Yeah, he's like,
emotionally. I have to remove myself.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, like I get it, because I know one of the reasons I never became a stripper was because in case one of his friends walked in, I'm like, "Oh, hey Tony, how you doing?"
That's thoughtful.
Like
some
seriously, because
foresight.
I'm like, he's gonna punch someone who says anything.
Yeah, right.
Like, "Hey man, saw your sister last night, and she's grown up." Like I would never want me to be the reason my brother was put in jail. Like,
Yeah.
So you guys were pretty close.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
growing up.
Yeah, big time. Like, there's 4 of us, but him and I are the 2 middles. So, like, yeah, we're the closest in age and everything.
Were you all creative, or were they just like helpful and conducive to that?
I think Ryan is. It's funny because I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. How like one of us is an agoraphobic, one of us is out there when they want to be, who can do it. But Ryan is so like, because Ryan did the performing thing too. He was in a rap group and stuff like.
No.
And
Okay. All right.
so
all right.
he never would do a song with me.
Too jealous to collab.
Can't do a little song with my little sister. I'm like, okay, and my oldest brother,
Maybe go rap about feelings.
I know. I was
little
like,
sis.
dude, whatever. But my oldest brother has always like owned his own businesses, so it's like all of us are kind of like in control of what we do
Okay.
in that way. But like, my sister is so creative. Like she can. They're both Ryan used to draw like comic book art, and he is like, but you know, that's what you get from trauma.
Yeah, we were literally talking about this
exactly.
earlier today. It's
Yeah.
just like, I hate that the cocktail that makes great shit is broken folks.
It's that fuel that kind of makes me laugh, I guess.
But I was talking about coming on here earlier because everyone's like, oh, where are you going? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be on this podcast, and just talking about like funny people in general, and just how I'm like, you know, I really think that we have the ability to find the funny in anything, and that is a human's it's one of our big survival techniques.
Yeah.
Coping mechanism.
Yeah, because if you can't, like, life is just gonna smother you with sad. Like you guys weren't even ready for the Romeo and Juliet thing. You were like, oh my god. And it's so funny because I was such this like ugly duckling for such a long time. And it's like at this age, I feel like I'm the most attractive I've ever been in my life. And like, only because other people are like, oh my, you look so good. And you're like, I'm like, okay, I realized I was 100 pounds heavier. But you can like, was I that bad? Like, Jesus.
That's good self-esteem wise, but are you like,
like,
you thought I was so ugly before?
Yeah. Like when I was 10 years younger.
I was
like,
a pretty big fan of myself before. I don't know why you're all of a sudden.
Yeah. But it does, having that kind of experience, I am very grateful for that though, because I think that those kinds of things like kind of keep you humble and keep you open to like being more of a humanitarian, just because you feel that off other people.
Right.
And it was people that make other people laugh. I can tell how a personality is by what they laugh at.
Oh, isn't that the most fun game to play at an open mic?
Ooh, it is so
Guess
telling.
the trauma based on the one person laughing at the darkest shit. It's just like, oh man, why did that hit them in the heart? Yes.
It is seriously one of my, or the people that stifle laughter.
Right.
Because like me, because I've been cursed or blessed with being able to laugh at the worst times. Like, and like my uncle, who was kind of like my dad, because my dad sucked, killed himself when I was 19. So like his family sucked. And I waited for someone at his memorial to like get up and talk for him. No one fucking did. No one from his immediate family. I waited like 20 seconds and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going up then.
See a need, fill a need.
Yes.
Jesus.
And I made people laugh at a suicide funeral. So like if you have that ability.
What was your opener for that?
Oh man, I think I started talking about with our love of vanilla Coke and food, because that was our thing.
That's
we
pretty,
like
yeah.
we bonded over, like, at his grave, like I left a vanilla Coke there. Like, so
Beautiful.
it was like he was everything that my father was not. And he took that role. Him and my aunt never had kids, so like they had that room, that space, and that's like one of the things I always remember. Like, yay, it could have been worse. We got
Right?
this shit, but we had one of those for a while, and it was pretty dope. So like, but it's just always having that ability, but I am so guilty of these.
Yeah.
Because, like, I can only hold it in for so long. Or especially, like, oh, my God, there was this guy at Go Bananas not too long ago. Lloyd has a clip of it. I know he sent it around to a bunch of people, but he told, like, a 5-minute joke at the Pro-Am I was on about farts. The whole thing. Did you hear about this at all?
I've not
I'll
heard
have
about
to
this.
have Lloyd send you the thing, but it was so, like, people were laughing for the wrong reasons.
I hate that.
I get so awkward. I feel like awkwardness to me, like, it makes me want to peel my skin off. Like, when
Yep.
I feel awkward, like, I can't watch The Office. People talk about The Office. I've tried to watch it. Michael Scott makes me feel so incredibly awkward that I, like,
Really?
shake. Like, and
I get that.
oh, I hate it. I hate it.
I feel like I like that stuff because I live a lot of it. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, every day's awkward for me, so
Yeah.
I see you
Yes!
there.
I want to peel my skin off, so I'll just watch this guy do it
Yeah,
in this
see?
office.
And I think I've had too. I feel like I've been in a lot of pressure situations where things have been on me to, like, keep things level or comfortable to
Yeah.
where I automatically feel some type of pressure, like, I'm gonna have to fix it and I'm not gonna like it. Like it.
Yeah.
So even though I knew in that situation, but, like, also, like, I'm like, oh my God, it's kind of like Carrie. You're like, they're all gonna laugh at you. Like, it's just like in that environment, like, your whole thing, loving the bomb. Like, I'm literally watching it happen. Like, and then you start watching people laughing for way reasons that he's not wanting them to laugh for. And then the empathy starts to surge. And then you just are like, but Giles went up next and he
He's
killed
the
it.
right kind of awkward.
He killed it. How he dealt with the whole thing was beautiful. So Giles, I always
talk
say his
about
name
Giles
wrong.
too much.
I say his name wrong all the
So-
time. I'm like, why can't I figure this out?
Well, you mentioned Buffy earlier, and that's the other way.
Yeah.
There's a Giles on there. That was honestly my biggest problem with Giles.
Yeah.
Is that I knew the Giles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer beforehand,
I think
so
you
Same.
just. I think you just. Yep.
3 weeks saying
Yep.
it wrong.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I've said that before. I'm like, why can't I just stick to Giles? Like, I just can't do it. He's
Weird
funny.
pitch. Let's start calling him by his name backwards. Selig.
Selig.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Throw some stank on the back end of it.
Scandinavian kind of-
Selig.
League. Oh, that makes him sound like he's doing some shit. I feel like I've met one of those dudes before, like in Clifton,
My,
maybe in an alley.
My Selig was selling fish. Like, that was, you got a different vibe from
Really?
Selig.
Selig song.
My Selig was in a helicopter with Breezy. I feel like together we kind of painted a person.
Mine had a turban. He was like 500 years ago. It was.
Maybe a magic lamp. Like telling me there's diamonds and roughs. Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. We're just gonna call him that next time I see him, like, Selig. Do you have a sundial?
Have you traveled far?
Like, he's like, what the fuck? Like, oh boy, yeah, that's
So
fun.
if it's Giles, he's gonna look at you like,
Yeah,
That's what
I know.
he's gonna do. He's gonna do that face with that noise. That's
Yeah.
that's his jam.
Yeah, God, his hair is so perfectly straight, though. It pisses me off.
Yeah, do you think that's chemical?
I don't
think
know.
He has
I
a
have-
chemical straightener in that shit.
All I
isn't he an
know.
engineer? Like he
So he probably
Oh,
whipped
so
up a
he
brew.
made his own.
Yes, he
shampoo
made his own batch.
conditioner.
Or he's got the hookup from somebody. He just don't want to let it go.
Or he uses like mane and tail. Like,
Yes.
Look, if you add 2 drops, just 2 drops of iodine to mane and tail, you too can look like Selig.
cue the Breaking Bad intro.
Seriously, every time I see him, it's like perfectly straight. I'm like, it looks like it has a nice texture to it. I'm like,
Right?
I've never wanted to ask like someone before, like, excuse me, like, what's going on here?
How?
I like it.
Natural or?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, I would be so mad if I found out that he was just like, look,
Nothing.
I shower once a day and this is natural oils.
It's
Yeah.
all water.
I'd
Just
kill
shower
him.
with
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, he doesn't even use shampoo.
Yeah, exactly. Is he like the all-in-one shit?
Know what it is?
Like, oh.
I shower, I
Yeah.
condition, I shave, deodorize, and wipe my ass with the same
yeah.
fluid. I'm Selig.
It's a league and it's clean goo. It goes everywhere. It's
That's actually what he's selling.
Right.
Yeah.
Selig's clean goo.
The leaks cling. Hold on, that's like a tongue twister.
Okay.
The leaks cling.
when is your worst bomb, you think? And I wouldn't even say comedy bomb. I would say if you had a
Yeah,
rap bomb,
anything.
All over the performance spectrum.
Yeah,
Take your
right.
pick.
just not Romeo and Juliet because we talked about that.
Yeah, that was a life bomb.
Life bomb on stage.
I honestly, I'll give you the one that I felt really hard, and that was actually last year, and I had got asked to be on a show at a brewery, Swine City Brewing.
Okay.
And I was really excited because like Jeremy was on the show, who I absolutely love, and my friend Justin Schaefer and my friend Phil was putting it on.
That was Jeremy Johnston?
yeah.
Okay.
And
There's only one Jeremy.
Phil-
It's
yeah, I
Phil
know.
Pointer.
I'm like, he's the only Jeremy I know. Blah, 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 blah. But like, I was really excited, and there were a bunch of people there, and it was very bright. Like it wasn't
Oh no.
dim lit, so I could see.
Oh, the whole room was bright.
Yeah.
Not like,
Very bright.
damn, these brights. It's like,
Yeah, no.
Up here.
Yeah, it was lit, legit lit. Like no lights were off. I could see everyone's faces
Oh no.
perfectly. I was in a corner with a mic stand, and I just like everyone who's bombed has always felt that feeling coming. Like, oh, this is bad. This is not going to be good because.
Yeah.
you're sweating.
Yeah, well, because then you're also trying to wrestle with not looking like an idiot, knowing this is happening, and trying to change it, and opening your vault of things that you know work, and trying to fit them together, and trying to bring them back when you know you just
Yeah.
lost them because you just waited 6 seconds to say something, and then the anxiety is kicking in. You're like, it's fucked.
And
It's fucked.
then you're like overreaching to save
Yeah.
it, and it's making things worse.
And then, or then you straight up call out the fact that you're like, I'm really not having a good time up here, guys, and which is exactly what I did. I was like, I'm just gonna, you guys, I'm like kind of freaking out right now. Like,
Was it the type of bomb where you get a laugh off of that? Or were they like,
there were
oh,
like
yeah.
2 laughs, and
Oh,
people
man.
actually gave me the sympathy applaud.
No.
No.
And that is when I was like, okay, let's go die out back now. And it was just like, man, maybe this was a mistake. Like maybe I shouldn't do it. And
It's every bomb. It doesn't feel
like,
better.
maybe I just shouldn't. Like I fucked up. Like this isn't for me. And then Jeremy, he was like, that was kind of a weird show. I was like, dude, it was the lights, man. I was like, I am one with the darkness. Like, do not put me in the light. Like, I don't like no bright lights. So,
Well,
Sorry
thank you for
about
coming
our-
here where we
Yeah.
have extras set up.
hey, but
Today, when we were setting up, we were like, for the first time ever, let's shine a bright light right on our guys.
hey. And I'm like, look at even over here.
Well, we
like,
got a
"Ooh,
backdrop."
Oh, the backdrop is nice with my complexion with the light. So I appreciate that. I
Okay, good.
appreciate
Good.
that.
It's not
We
like-
did something right for once. When we were like, hey,
Hey.
let's change 4 things and see what sticks.
every now and then we wander into it. Like,
Hey, it works, and I like it.
How did you rebound off of the bomb? Did you like go up the next day? Did you take a week? Or
I think at that time, I took like a couple weeks just to like
Yeah.
process. And I think the next one was I did a chameleon open mic, which I love chameleon open mics.
those have a different energy.
Yeah.
And also shout out to John for like
Dude.
telling people to not be dicks about the list. That was
Yeah,
for
that was.
sure.
I have been around for some of those. Like I have straight up watched like people like who like just get their shove in front of other people or whatever, and I'm like I live right there,
Yeah.
And I'm
you're a
like-
stone's throw.
and I'm still getting here at like 7:30 because I know so many people are gonna be hella aggressive, and like, so yeah, kudos to him on that, because especially with that many people he has on, or like just the fact that he's
staying
willing.
up till 1 or
yes,
whenever, every single night,
yes, like
every single Thursday.
but
Chameleon every night would be
ran
a
like
lot.
a New York mic where it goes until like 4 a.m. Except they were like, well, we have to close, so we'll cap it at 30.
yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, because if you've done a considerable amount of open mics, which I know that's part of the reason I'm not at a lot of open mics, is because I did so many of them when I was younger.
That's how
And-
you start. You're like, I want this like every day.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can have that.
Yeah.
It's there
Sort
whenever
of
you want it.
a genie's promise, though.
Yeah.
Like you go to him and it's like, oh, it is all just 7 comics most of the time.
Yeah.
But Chameleon's kind of different.
It
Like,
has it's a different setup. It's that
that's the
stage.
cause
That
of the-
stage makes all the difference, because every one of us doesn't like doing the open mics where you're competing against whatever game is on at the
Exactly.
bar, hoping
Yeah.
that
Separate
7
room.
people are watching.
Come
you.
out to Millions, guys. It's every other Sunday. It's a great time.
There are
I mean-
7 TVs to compete with.
Yeah, and I've done that, but I will also say there is a great sense of like, you have that feeling of accomplishment when you are at that mic that's only 8 people, and those 8 people are losing their shit over
That's
what
the
you're
best
saying
thing in the world.
because it feels so earned.
Yes.
It's so earned.
One
like,
of my favorite sets was walking into Chameleon late, where it was a guest set that Tanner Hines was running.
okay.
And I walked in at the very last spot, and I'm just rushing in. And I'm like, is the show still going on? And Tanner's like, yeah, you're the last one, and there's 2 people in there. All the comedians are gone. It's just 2 random audience members. And I did 5 minutes, and they laughed.
the whole time.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
It's
and
so good.
That nothing. Very few shows of like doing genuinely well measure up with me being like, yeah, that feels good.
Yeah, because you, like I said, you earned it. Like you were like, yes, because I always try to like look at everything like, okay, it all means something. Like it's like, I don't want to treat something like, oh, this is bullshit, it's only at this place and da 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 da. Like, it's like, no, I really want people to laugh. I really want to make people laugh. And like, there was one show where I was at, there weren't many people I got asked to be on the show. They were like, yeah, you're gonna do 10 minutes. I looked out, there's 12 people there, and I was like, holy shit, 10 minutes with 12 people. All right. Like, and they were all across the board demographic wise. So it was like you become a strategist like
What's
immediately.
the uniting
like,
factor?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it was fascinating to me who laughed at what and the reaction from
Yes.
Oh,
what,
it's one
like,
of those crowds where it's someone different every
yes,
time. So
every
you're like,
laugh, someone's like losing their shit. And like, I remember I closed out with my like crazy Britney Spears shark eye joke, and this chick, I'm not kidding, this one chick was convulsing during that entire joke. She was fucking losing her shit. She walks up to me when the next person
love
goes
that.
on stage, and she was like, I have been a Britney Spears fan my entire life. She was like, that was fucking hilarious. And I was like, thank you. Now sit down, because I'm part of this crowd now. Like, you know,
I have to be an audience
yeah,
member. There aren't
exactly.
enough of you.
Yeah, like, but it was so rewarding because, like, so many people are different ages, and I got each one of those people to laugh out loud. Like,
Yeah.
whereas you got 200 people there, sure, it's probably going to sound like some big laughs if you have a really good joke. But man, when you get those big jokes from that small crowd, you're like, okay, I'm not as shitty as I think I am. All right. Yeah.
It's
that's
an
awesome.
obvious metric of your talent in that room
Oh, yeah.
because there's no wiggle room. It's a percentage game. Like if you're making a room of 5 people and 4 of them are laughing, you have 80% of the room
That's
through
what I
the whole
mean.
show. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That is a win. That is a win, and we've all been at those shows where it's like, man, nobody wants to be here, huh?
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to be here. Nobody wants to watch.
No one even wants to start the show
Yeah,
on time.
Exactly. But like I said, that night, there weren't people there, and we had a great time. Like everyone that was there. So that is the best. And that was shortly after that whole situation. So it was
that was your bomb.
The bounce back.
That was the rebound of okay, I'm not as shitty. Like okay, I'm not that shitty.
Yeah, stepping into a situation that should be bad and making it good. That's almost better than being like, this whole thing is set up for you to like kill. Like, so you better kill. Like,
yeah, dude. Getting 50% of a sold out room feels awful.
Yeah, like
comparatively.
75 feels bad.
Yeah, for real.
Because every one of us, like, one of my friends is like a touring comic. Like, his actually, like, she was just on Kill Tony not too long ago and stuff.
Oh, no shit.
Like, yeah, she's really dope. Her name's Felicia Gillespie. It's so funny because we argue all the time about like political things and shit, but she's still like one of my BFFs from way back when we first started doing stand-up. But like we were talking about how every one of us, our main goal is to get that pause, that when you get everyone to laugh and it's just that surge of like, I've got all of you now. Like when everyone laughs at that one thing, you just stop talking and just ride that ride. Like that is the best. Like I always want that, but it's like even if I make one person not be able to breathe because they're laughing so hard.
Good too.
Oh my god! Like you both times I'm all over the place a lot of the time, but you both, I stopped what I was doing and like I was like, oh, I like this. Like it was.
Oh, thank you.
You guys. Oh,
I was just waiting for her to be like, you
both had a lot of work to do.
Lauren, you were hilarious though.
No, you both. If I stop or like someone catches my attention. Because I do laugh at weird things all the time. Like
we are weird folk.
Like, well,
you gotta be these days. There's a lot of white guys with mustaches. You're not weird.
It's true. It's true.
Some people are just dyeing their hair and lopping off parts to stand apart.
Sometimes we mirror image the video right in the middle, and one of us just takes a breather.
I love it. But there's also like I love different people's energies and like once you've been watching so many people, like I loved when I was a teenager, I loved more of the like BET comic view, like I loved some more and I loved Monique and I loved Bernie Mac, and because a lot of like white comics that I watched, they weren't talking about this shit that I knew about, like, but Cedric the Entertainer talking about grabbing change to pay for gas and shit. I've seen that. Like I've had to be the one that took that change into the gas station.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, and even like growing up where I grew up, I always wondered like when like certain like white people I know would talk shit about like black people, like people of color, like because I'm like, we all live in the same fucking neighborhood. Like, this makes no sense.
Everyone you just listed is within a square block.
That's what I mean. So
why are they in different categories?
Yeah, but at that time, like, I really did, like, I was more of a fan of black culture than, like so much so that where my father, like, he would talk shit to me and my brothers all the time because we liked what we liked and everything. And it's like, it's made some holidays real awkward, especially since, like 2012, something like that. And because I just got to a point where I'm like, this is who I am. And this is like,
unapologetically you.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, y'all, you can't put me in this place and think that, oh yeah, because we paid for you to go to the private school in that place, you are not one of the people that live here. I'm like, no, I appreciate the academia. I truthfully do, but also I'm not any better than, because I was telling Lloyd the other day, there is no one who knows white privilege more than a Caucasian female from a low income neighborhood. I could flip that fucking switch so fast every time I got pulled over. Every time. Like, I saw that shit up close, and I always felt like the people who I appreciated in entertainment, the things that I laughed at, like, now, like, I moved to Minneapolis when I was like 25, and I got to be present for some very like uncomfortable conversations where I, realized I was doing shit. Like, I would do impressions. I love impressions. Impressions got to a place where I was like, hey, shut the fuck up. You don't get to do that impression anymore. And I was like, you're correct.
Yes, I will sit down and be quieter for the rest of the evening.
I'm sorry, I was ignorant.
Can relate.
Yeah.
Harshly can relate.
Oh, and but we need that. And you, like, I can do everything I can to support, as Dave Chappelle would say, the famously disenfranchised. I can do, but I know that I still have something that they will never have. And so it is very important to me to represent myself, who I am, but also make sure that those things are like given their shine, because I'm like, I wouldn't be who I am without, like, I get to perform in Chicago next month.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you guys know VA?
Yeah.
VA.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Love VA.
dude, I love VA. So,
His shows at the Village Tavern were fucking
oh my,
legendary.
well, and that
They
was
were
one of my first like big shows back, is when he did his reunion show last year. I was on his reunion
That's
show.
dope.
And
He
so
knew how to run a
he's
show.
he's one of my people, and he actually asked me if I wanted to be on his birthday show in Chicago, and it's his 40th birthday. So like, I'll be up there for his 40th birthday show.
That's sick.
Next,
Hell
and
yeah.
I'm gonna cry my eyes out.
Right?
I don't even care. Like, I've never even seen the venue. The fact that I will be standing in Chicago telling jokes where I would not be who I am without Bernie Mac at all. Like, Bernie Mac would make me laugh till I fucking cried. Like, just with how he talked about his family. Because you guys have seen my stand-up, like, so much of my content is about my family.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
which that's like, I can't make up comedy. Like, I'm always amazed at comics that can just tell stories that didn't happen. Because I'm like, that's a royalty I do not have.
I'll like just go too far off. It's like, if I'm making something up, you're gonna know it's like a lie.
Yeah.
'Cause I just get bored. Like,
yeah. I haven't even learned how to do that well. Like, I'm like, I would just tell you about this shit I went through. Like,
life dropped a bit in my lap.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And I just have to make it funny now. But it's like, the fact that I get to be in Chicago where so many of these people came through, and I'm going to be like, I'm like, I'm going to start crying. I know I'm going to start crying, and it's not like I'm going to be at this mega theater or anything, but the fact that that is how I truly loved comedy, was the kings of comedy, the queens of comedy, like, because they said the shit, they used the vernacular that my parents did too, a few words aside. But like, that's what killed me, is my dad would always like talk shit about rap lyrics, but then I thought he like invented the F word and would like say the worst shit ever. So I'm like, what? Like, oh, this is gross lyrical content, but what I just heard you say about mom is great. Like,
Fine, because it's next to our bathroom. What?
so that is like, I have to give that. I think that's when I was so drawn to comedy, was during that, and I was a teenager, and it was like, I just wanted some truth. I just wanted that truth that no one would give.
yeah, just seeking out something that's genuine after being raised like that. Comedy can give you that,
It really can.
because you go on stage and you can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a total sandbox, which
And
is
it's
the problem.
What's truthful is what works. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of rewarded for that.
Hey, well, hold on. What would John Holmes even like? It's all, depending on where you went with your patriotism, you know, the free speech zone.
Yeah.
Which I do appreciate that. I love that he has stood that with like, hey, you know, you're not going to say no hateful ass shit in here. Because like, it's like, we're all here to build each other up.
Second
Like,
shout out, John Holmes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just a shout out to
that.
Edward.
I just love that room. I really do. As much
Chameleon
as
is great.
It, like, because it does give you that feel like and the staff is always kick ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude,
You
the
had
food.
you had a couple of Wednesday shows there, right?
Yeah.
How were
I love
those?
it. Well, I had the one Wednesday show I did through the Sonder House thing or whatever, and it went so good that Emily at Chameleon was like, "Hey, you want to do a weekend show?" or
That's
something?"
what I heard, and then I felt bad for not making it.
Oh.
So
Well, it was
Like,
supposed
how was
to be.
that?
It was supposed to be the Christmas Eve show or Christmas Eve show, and then we had that rogue winter weather that
right.
destroyed everything.
Yeah.
And then so I rescheduled it for like after Valentine's Day, and that was packed out. And I also learned that some comedy shows can be too long because when I look around, see some people yawning, I'm
Yup.
like, oh man! But it went so good. And
Hell
that,
yeah.
that was a Friday show, and that was really
That's
good.
dope because those Wednesday shows are not easy to like get people in for. It's-
No,
Right.
I also use guilt because
There you go.
I know a lot of people, and there are so many people that be like, "You gotta tell me when you're doing a show. You gotta tell me," and then they don't show
Phoning
up.
them
Yep.
in.
So I started calling them out.
Hey.
I was like, "You've been saying, woo." See, I was zealous. I was like, "You've been saying you want to come see a show. This is your opportunity. You come right now." And I think like I've I pulled a few because I'm like, no, quit saying you want to come out and support.
Yeah.
If
Are
you're-
you full of shit
Like,
or do you want to
seriously,
support
come
your
out and
friends?
support, and a lot of people came through, and they came through the second time too, and I'm so happy with how they turned out, and I was so nervous because I had never hosted shows before, and
Yeah.
it went really good, and I couldn't have been more on cloud nine after that. Like getting handed money was after that just seemed like what?
It feels like cheating almost when you
does.
have a good show and then they pay you. It's like, oh, I already
would have-
feel fulfilled. What is this
Yeah,
cash?
you're paying me to make people laugh.
I would have just done this. Don't
Like
tell 'em.
yeah, like
Please don't tell anyone. Don't tell
like,
anyone.
Yeah, like that. It's just the wildest concept to me. Like
Yeah.
we can get paid to make people laugh. That's crazy.
What's the like? Do you remember the first time that someone put money in your hand for your jokes?
Yeah, I want to say that it was probably in my early 20s. I think it was maybe one of the Afro Man shows. And I think it was like $20 or something.
Hell yeah.
$20 and like some drink tickets or maybe even some pot.
Classic
And
comedy pay.
I was like, fuck yeah. Because
I just got popped from
like-
Afro Man.
And I'm pretty sure I drove like 2 hours to get there and 2
Yep.
hours back. But
Yep.
it was like I got to open up for Afro Man down in Maysville, Kentucky. And I don't even know at the Night Moves. And I don't even know if I got paid for that one. I do remember getting a hotel room, but I don't. I'm
that's nice.
but I was like, I think I paid for the hotel.
You
So,
got a hotel.
Yeah, I think I got
How
a hotel.
that happened.
But again, I
By
think it was
exchanging
like
money for
just
it.
some cash. And because even when I was in the rap group, they tried to we would get phone calls about people coming into town. Like, do you want to open for them? Pay this much money. I'm like, you want me to
what?
pay?
You want me
be
to
on
pay for
someone's
Red
show?
Man's parking pass? I'm not doing that to open for him.
Fuck that. And I was like, by that point, I had like a shred of an ego.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, I don't know a whole lot about this shit.
You
but
were
I
one of the
know
really white girls. Like, you had a reputation.
to protect.
How
Yes.
are you still rapping?
I actually just got put on to like a local label not too long ago.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you.
That's cool.
People think they've seen Dark. They have not seen Dark. Like I'm gonna be like, it's a pretty heavy verse like that I have wrote out, and I've only let the person who I'm doing the song with read it, and the first thing she said was like, "That's heavy."
Oh, boy.
I was like, "Yeah."
That's what's good though.
But it's like
Right?
every outlet that you enjoy, I just feel like,
Does it feel
Do
like
it.
switching between different things, or are you just being creative and like?
oh
letting-
yeah,
yeah.
I was telling the boyfriend the other day, Lloyd, I was like, I feel like I just need to give names to these alter egos. Like Breezy Lee is the comic,
Okay.
and then but I also referred to myself as Breezy Lee in the song, so I was like, I might just have to trim that. Like, be like, no, just Breezy. like literally just Breezy.
Just Breezy.
How does I'm curious how a rap show bombing goes. Have you had like a real bad experience with that?
I had an awkward kind of show.
Okay.
But luckily enough, we had shock value behind us. So it was like the fact that we happened to be good on top of shock value was like, that's why I did it. Because it was like, people are going to see us make an assumption. And then they're going to be like, holy shit, they can actually rap too. Like, this is insane.
Oh,
that's
let's
your
sit down.
reaction that you get.
Yeah. But when my one friend decided that Really White Girls was too serious for her,
I just want to be a white girl. I don't want to be really anything.
I was
Yeah.
always just white.
and even
No one
then
called
we
me
dropped
really
it off. We just started calling it RWG.
Nice.
Yeah. And
That's better marketing
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah. And I was like, and it was so funny because this was before like Iggy Azalea and Krayshawn and everything.
paved the
like,
way for
I
Iggy
did.
Azalea?
I did.
You heard it here first.
Hey, you heard. I know. And then when I actually heard her speak, I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Like,
Wait, I don't think I've heard her speak.
she's Australian. She has an Australian
I don't
accent.
think I knew that about Iggy Azalea.
Yeah, that's why she started getting like blasted a lot because it was just so like, okay, like they took a clip, the best splice ever. They took the clip from where the dude in Tropic Thunder is calling out the Robert Downey Jr. and he's
Yep.
like, "You're Australian. Speak Australian." Because they showed Iggy
Yeah.
Azalea at a press conference and then they spliced that into it.
That's great.
Because it was just such a gross misappropriation that you were just like, oh, what the fuck? Like, this is whack. But when my one friend left, me and the other friend decided to do like serious rap songs. The people that were there were kind of like, what is going on? But they were still like trying to vibe, you know? And I was like, man, I'm fucking done with this shit.
Wait,
like,
did you do like comedic rap before? Or?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
okay.
Oh, you can find it on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
It's
if we
on
were
SoundCloud.
good at our job, we would have found that.
Oh, it's okay.
What are you talking
It's
about?
okay.
I told you to listen to track 7.
Oh God! You
No.
take your
Well, let's
pad
put it
out.
this way. The track list reads is like, I fucked your dad, bitch. Good head. I can be a bitch. Like, just complete ridiculous, like, whatever. But I also love words, so I use like surgical terms and shit. And now it's funny because that's like my major. So like maybe that was a little foreshadowing. Like she likes to slice and dice, but
I like that though. That's fun.
So, but that was the bomb. The bombing was that we had one show.
You tried
One.
to just play it straight and
Yeah,
like rap,
and
but-
like be all emotional, and it was like, nah, they didn't know what to do with it over at the Thompson house.
okay.
So yeah, again, it was one of my friends being like, "You want to be on the show?" Yeah, sure. It was like, not the crowd, not the crowd. Meh, meh, meh. Yeah. So that was the bomb with that one.
Do you have any words of wisdom for our audience? Although I do think that this entire episode
It's been
has
wisdomous.
been wisdomous.
Yes.
I think just
my
put
new
that term in
favorite
your
word.
back pocket. That's your wisdom.
I'm like, I feel like that is a word, but I may be wrong.
It is now. If
Hey.
it wasn't before.
Hey, that's how Shakespeare did it. He was just like,
Hey.
this sounds dope. It's a word now.
Yes.
Eyeballs. And they're like,
Yes.
people already know eyes are balls. And he's like, no, I want to say it. It sounds cool.
Yes.
I needed one more syllable in that line.
Your eyeballs. Yeah, I just think that for like anyone like me, like I always feel bad when people even refer to me as a comic because I'm like I haven't been on that many shows, but I feel like I've done so many different things
Right.
that it's kind of like if I know that success reads to me like me selling a screenplay, that is the peak of success to me. Whereas somebody else might think a Netflix special is the peak of success
Right.
to them. I feel like if it gratifies a certain lane for you, or if it feels like, hey, I could maybe, because with me, it's always, what could it possibly lead to? Who could I maybe meet along this road that, hey, we might end up having a sketch comedy show together or doing this. So it's like like I said, I love improv. Like I'm probably gonna get started more involved in the improv community soon, just because I love off the top shit. It's so good. Like we were talking about genuine, like
Yes, those reactions.
and I feel like people need to like just always be aware of what makes them the happiest in that realm. Like if in comedy for me, it's like thinking something was gonna work how it did, and then I watch it work in front of me. I'm like, yes, and like.
I can. I
Yeah,
really can.
Exactly. And so it's like, but if it makes you the happiest when you're sitting down and writing it versus being on a stage, like do more. Like I'm gonna put it out there, y'all. You need a ghostwriter. Holler at your girl. Cause like I'm one of those people. I would just be happy if I knew something that I created made somebody laugh.
Yeah.
Or made like. So I think people just need to be like, if it makes you happy and it doesn't hurt anybody, like keep doing whatever is fulfilling about whatever part for you. Like I've like, y'all know now I've done all kinds of shit, but like that there was always this certain feeling I get from making a lot of people laugh at one time.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm at waiting tables and then I'm talking to my table, getting them to laugh, and then other people's tables are paying attention to me and they're laughing. You just
I'm killing this dining room
I know,
right now.
right? You're like, I'm fucking slaying. This is for sure $5 tip. For sure.
I love just getting laughs in my day job and just being like, I'll remember it for the rest of the day, even if I
Yeah.
like do something corporate worthy or like
Right?
It's so true.
the suits would like, and I'm like, yeah, but I said that line about the DMV.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I've said the same like breezy jokes so many times. But like I hate repetition. And I know that's one of the reasons sometimes
Things
I don't
get boring.
do as much stand up. Like I was listening to that episode you guys did with Gretchen, and you guys were talking about like repeating things. And because I know the more I get annoyed with something, I'm going to show it. And I don't want to take away from something because that annoys me.
Yeah.
So I'll find ways to like flip words around or layer up and that's honestly over the past year, I made a goal to get more comfortable repeating things. And so one of the things that I found that helped me was trying the same joke, but flipping the punch, like in different words, but the same words. Like, and finding ways to piece other things together and make them work, even if they weren't necessarily right next to each other when I first started them. So like, it's a way to like keep your brain busy and from not getting annoyed with that repetition.
Keep it fresh for yourself.
Exactly.
So that whole I'm telling this for the 5,000th time doesn't bleed through into your performance.
Because it does, and you can hear it in vocal inflections. You can
Absolutely.
and
the moment someone slips into autopilot,
yes,
it is a very different type of delivery.
I am familiar
It is. As am I. Like,
do
'cause
this joke for the 5th time this week.
yeah,
and
I feel like I go into like a kind of a Phil Hartman Simpsons vibe where I'm just like, oh, la, 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 and like, even if people are like, that was awesome, it doesn't feel like I sounded awesome. Like, it feels like I was annoyed. Like, maybe that just works. But like, so in that, like, that was something that I did just recently. So like, if that can help anybody, like that's
some really, really practical wisdom, actually.
Because
you can also
you.
use that to break yourself out of writer's block. Go back into your old jokes and break them apart and see if they can be put back together to be a different erector set in a different place.
Exactly.
We're all growing and evolving. The joke you
Yeah.
wrote 3 years ago still might work. You just might have to rewrite it in your new headspace.
Yeah, and it does help too if you do have the hyperactive brain that bounces everywhere, knowing
What?
it's
where?
you made my smoker's cough. But you can like, if you do get caught up in some, I'm like, okay, well, I know I can connect this to that.
Right.
I still like, because you have those like spark words, as I call them, that like just ignite something else.
I like that. Yeah.
So like those are my sparks are like, okay, well, I know this joke connects to that joke. And this,
Start shoehorning shit
It does kind of
together.
feel like electricity or chemistry, because if you do it a little bit different, it's just all wrong or all right. Not a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
lot of halfway in a joke working.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's
So,
weird.
That's,
Social alchemy. I knew that would make that happen.
that's pretty good phrase.
You're an alchemist.
I was gonna say this. My
full social alchemist? Fuck you, dude!
said full social.
Oh shit!
That's
You said you were down to
fantastic.
stick around for the Patreon, right?
Yeah, totally.
Hell yeah!
Okay.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I have
Hey,
to pee.
thanks, guys.
I'll wait on that bathroom. Do we want to have an official Patreon start time so we don't?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, we
Let's
should
not-
do that and
yeah.
stop talking about drama and gossip.
I know, right?
Let's talk about.
I could talk about this
Sunshine.
for another hour
Love.
easily.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
we can
just like,
also-
well, why is the Patreon so edited?
Exactly. Like, we're not gonna get into this shit.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not having the time of my life. It's
No,
like I don't
no,
want to
no.
accidentally leave any of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got you.
Headphones are on.
Oh, we're serious.
All names have been changed to protect the innocent
Yeah.
and the guilty.
Anyway, that thing between
God damn it,
I
Luke.
switched them. I switched them so the
In the court of Lauren, you're found wanting.
Now you just reminded me of A Knight's Tale. Here we go.
Okay, I'm glad that's not a
good
core memory
Heath
just for me. You have been found wanting coming from that blonde head is just like, yes!
I love it.
It's burned in there.
Oh, it's forever. I love that movie so much.
good.
Too good.
That's one of those movies you can turn on, like if you're having a bummed out day. You're like, I'm gonna watch A Knight's
and
Tale.
Heath
Such a good
Ledger
soundtrack.
isn't in a lot of shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to get him where you can.
Oh, God. 10 things
Oh.
I hate about you.
Oh man, such a good, bright, shining star that we lost to the DC universe.
Oh. Every one of them.
Just like the Green Lantern movie.
Oh, I'm just
We-
mad that we keep like okay, now I was trying to sleep the other night.
Okay.
We always fall asleep to TVs,
Yeah.
all the time. I do. Lloyd does. So he turned on a fucking movie that I was like, I kept trying to fall asleep, but then I'd be like,
The fuck
like,
is that?
kept trying. And I kept like, it was Split.
Oh, the
Shyamalan?
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
M. Knight Shyamalan.
Yes. Oh my God. And what's funny is I didn't even like. I remember seeing it like once before because it's one of those exhausting movies. It's so intense.
It feels like an acid trip.
Oh, God,
You need
it's so
2 days off of
intense.
work
Maybe, like,
afterwards.
yeah.
Captive movies are stressful for me, where you're
Yeah.
just like you have someone in a pen and you're kind of torturing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely torture. No, kind of.
I don't know. It's a gray area
Well,
for me.
what's actually happening? Because it seemed like some of the personalities were really nice,
Right, right.
But you still couldn't leave, and
You
we're gonna
gotta-
take your clothes.
What's that guy's name? Because that actor just played the
James
hell out of it.
McAvoy.
Yeah, that's James
Yeah.
McAvoy. That's Professor X, bro.
Yes, that's what we
Yeah.
were.
So
But
fucking good
he
in
was
that
also in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I forget about that.
He was the satyr. Yeah, like they
He
go
was
through the
Tom?
wardrobe. Yes.
Mr. Tumnus?
That's it. I said Tom like a jackass.
Whatever.
Brain edits.
Man,
No,
he
I
was
thought
wearing
you
a
just
scarf
knew him
and
all.
shirtless in the snow. Tell me what makes
I remember
sense.
his name. It was Tom Tumnus.
I thought you were just at that level on him where you had a nickname for him. You're like, my buddy Tum.
We go
Yeah,
way
you know.
back. We go way back. I knitted his scarf.
You never see me crocheting these days. You lost touch.
Oh my god, that's so wild.
Yeah, because think about that face.
Right? That is him.
That's him. Because as soon as I saw that, I was like, Man, I
God
love
damn.
satyrs and centaurs. That's my shit.
It was like we just recorded with Gretchen and talked about how we should make movie references, and then it's just been beginning to end.
I can't.
We've talked
It's
about
so
this
good.
before. We go off of the energy the guest brings. Big
Thank you.
movie fan.
So, because I'd honestly say, like, it's hard when people are like, "Are you more music or are you more movies?" Because I have so much appreciation for
That's an interesting
both.
question.
Ooh.
What? Okay. I
Because
wanna
that
get a
question,
good-
you said people always ask me this.
Yeah.
And as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I am constantly asking people a different question, but with is it music or podcasts? Because those are the folks that I'm running into.
Oh, see, yeah,
Different balances.
I'm kind of old. It's you guys. You can't say it because I'm a woman, but I can. I'm older. I'm 37.
And we'll
I'm gonna
let
be
you
38.
as much as you're comfortable in wanting
Yeah,
to say
I do
that.
not. I do not care because literally no one can guess my age. No one. People think that I'm way younger than I am all the time. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
you have a
I wasn't
time
thinking
ambiguity.
37.
yeah, but I also have a joke that it says, marrying and having children ages you like the presidency. So
It's like dog years. Every
like,
4 is
seriously.
actually 12.
like every time a woman sympathetically condescends me about it, I feel like it de-ages me by 6 months.
They're giving you their life force. 'Cause
exactly.
That's their energy.
Yes. They're like, Breezy, did you not want to get married? Oh, you don't have any kids?
Your crow's feet are just shrinking
Yeah,
back into your
exactly.
head.
She's just withering like a portrait of Dorian Gray. She's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
It's like turning the filters up on your
Yeah.
phone. It's just like, look at that.
Right.
Look at that thing.
Meanwhile, I'm having younger dudes be like, "Come on, Breezy, I'm not too young for you." I'm like, "Oh, boo. Yes, you are."
No, for
Like,
real.
You
Have
can't
you-
get my movie references.
That's right. Have you seen this? And they're like, what?
And
Like,
I'm
who's in
like,
it?
No.
I'm curious. You said movie or music. So if we're gonna talk about music, like who's like the person you're listening to now?
Okay, I can definitely say with full confidence my latest artist on rotation is Ash Nico.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, big favorite in this household.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You made me sick.
So good.
Dude, the
fucking good.
videos are like art.
Yeah.
I was literally just telling Lloyd this the other day. I was like, because he's like, there's so much like stuff going
Yeah,
on.
it's
I
a
was
lot.
like,
It's easy to get lost in the shuffle for sure.
it's like I
Right?
was like, I know, it's like a fragmented psyche just exploding all over the
Right?
screen, and he's just like, because I like,
Imagining Lloyd's reaction to this surrealist, like, I don't know how you describe extra, like, sexual,
oh, it's so
colorful.
good, so good.
It's hyper stylized.
Oh, I love
and, And iconic,
Yes,
aggressive,
She lets that shit
and
out.
morbid.
That is,
Yeah.
and dark.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like because I didn't have that type of music growing up when I was in my early 20s.
Right? That shit did not exist.
Like I had Spice Girls in 5th grade. Like
Yeah.
my mom, I remember I begged for Missy Elliott's CD in 5th grade, and I got the Super Duper Fly CD, but the edited version.
oh.
And I'm like, I just heard you say, man, what the fuck?
I remember not getting music when I was young like that because I just got like a church CD and I'm like, maybe I don't like music.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I'm just not my thing. 'Cause,
Yeah.
It's 92.5 or fucking church hymns.
Yeah. You're like, nah.
Which I love classic rock, but it wasn't until I really hit a groove with it that was separate from what my parents were doing that I appreciated music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. It is wild how, like, if you do, like, grow up in just a very particular type of thing and you're not meshing with that, move.
Yeah.
Or grow up in your case, I
Yeah.
guess.
One of my favorite quotes is like, wait, you can't hardly wait. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh my God. It's one of the best. You know who Seth Green is?
Yeah.
Seth Green is in it. Ethan Embry is in it.
I don't know him.
It's one of the quintessential early 2000s flicks.
Okay.
But one of the quotes, they do like screen shots at the very beginning that's like their yearbook picture, their yearbook quote. And one of my favorite quotes in the very beginning is, "Beware all enterprises that require new clothes." And that was something that I read in junior high. And I was like, I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, that's going to stick with me for a
And
while.
literally every time I've had to buy an outfit for something, I think about why I'm having to buy that outfit, why I can't wear something out of my closet that I picked out. It really does, like,
That kind of makes you a different person. It's like,
Right?
this isn't what I choose to be, and you're putting me in the shell of something.
Yeah.
and I swear to God, I was 13, like one of Blink 182's like first big songs, "Damn It," is on that soundtrack. And like the part of the scene where this, you know, it's always represented the giant high school party that when it gets broke up by the cops, that's when like kicks in and everyone's fucking running everywhere, and like it is like, it can't hardly wait. It has the best soundtrack. Like the soundtrack's on my Spotify right now, and but it just had that all. Oh my god, so good. Now I'm just thinking about that movie. Like,
I felt that. I
love it.
felt what you were talking about. It was very poignant, and then it drifted into
yes.
memory lane.
Now I'm like, can't hardly wait.
I love when you're like making a movie recommendation and you're trying to sell it, and you just
End up in the
drop
weeds.
into
Oh,
like,
God.
I'm just telling you the movie.
Oh, it's
right.
so good.
I want you to experience this, and then you end up being the way they experience it.
Oh, so great.
Oh, and that's how it ends. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that at all.
No, but
Yeah,
there's
your eyes glazed over a little bit.
no. But for that time when that movie came out too, there were so many bit parts with big people and like
Oh, that's
what was
fun.
like. I love those movies where they just sprinkle little. You're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are they
We-
doing
we-
in
Right?
here? Like,
Why
what?
is Will Ferrell in this for
Yeah,
4 seconds?
exactly.
We just watched He's Not That Into You.
Hold on, who's that one? Who
It's
is
got
Everybody in
Ben Affleck.
okay,
fucking
okay.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, Ben Affleck. Yeah.
I can't remember anyone else.
There was just so many weird cameos.
Yeah.
Right. And so many faces that you're just like, oh, I know that person from like 17 things that they're
Yeah.
in for 12 minutes.
Yes, exactly. But you still can't remember their name. Like so
The
many
Broad
people.
City girl was the bartendress. Busy
Curly hair?
Phillips?
Is she the one with the curly hair?
Wait, no, she's not on Broad City. It was Busy Phillips, and it was Cougar Town. I always confuse those two.
Really? I
Maybe
haven't
we
seen
should
Cougar
stop
Town, so I
making
wouldn't
movie
know.
references. I feel like we've gotten into the weeds with it.
So your ultimate goal is to write a screenplay.
Yes. I would love
What
to read a
is the
screenplay.
story that's been bouncing around in your head the most?
Oh,
See, this is where I get tricky sharing ideas because I'm like, if someone
feel
would
free
take
to
my
keep
shit,
behind a copyright wall.
You say,
What's your
I mean,
genre?
yeah.
dark comedy.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I'm on board with that
Dark
already.
comedy, like my favorite movie is Beetlejuice. That's
No
my
shit.
favorite movie of all time. Like
Your outfit kind of says that.
this is what I wore to church. Like I walk in leather jacket. My mom looks down. I'm wearing my Docs. She's like, I'm like, this is what you made me. Like
Okay.
I'm like, you brought me up in a Gothic church. Here I am. But I love, like, have you ever seen Ryan Reynolds' The Voices?
No.
See, that's another one that goes because dark humor is a very like. Some people really love it, and some people are really disturbed by it. And
Yeah. It's also if it falls flat,
yeah,
it's
Right.
worse. It's like
Oh, yeah.
you
Right.
just jump for something and you missed it by.
yeah.
Well,
but like,
yeah.
I highly recommend. Let's just say he plays just watch it.
Okay. That
I
yeah.
can't even like Ryan Reynolds in that role is. I can't believe he doesn't do more like that.
Oh,
But
okay.
what's another dark World's Greatest Dad?
Now you've hit me.
Yeah, that was
That's the kind of shit that's wildly fun. Have you seen World's Greatest Dad?
I have not.
Robin Williams stars in it. The main plot line is there is a son that commits suicide and leaves a
Wait,
note.
you told me about this movie.
Oh, it is so many people that have, it's like that's how you'll find out how someone thinks about certain things from when you're like, I love that movie. They're like, oh yeah. you like, what did you enjoy about that?
Yeah, what was it about that story that you loved?
But there's also certain movies that like I don't get, like only a few things make me like really emotional. And like Robin Williams has the ability to, and I don't know if it's just because we all made connections with him as kids and he was Peter Pan.
Flubber.
And like, see, I say Peter Pan. He says fucking flubber. This is the clear difference in age right here. I'm like,
Yep.
I watched Flubber so many times.
And I've seen Hook about 400.
Move your little flubber booty. I saw Flubber too. I liked it. But he is
Weebo.
and for me, I remember going to see Aladdin in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
Like he was Genie. Like and
Yeah.
like, but when there's a scene in World's
Rip.
Greatest Dad that I like heavy cried, like felt it in my chest, but it was also so fucked up and hilarious.
Yeah.
But you're still crying too, so I'm like,
That's if I remember correctly, it's directed by
Bobcat.
Bobcat Goldthwait directed that.
He
Wrote
was
and directed
one of my
that.
favorite people. Scrooged is one of my favorite Christmas movies. Like it's reaching the top. I think
Bill
it might
Murray?
be. Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
When he's like, he's got the gun and he's all fucked up, and have you ever seen Scrooged?
Long time ago.
Oh my, I watch it every Christmas. Faithful.
See, that should be a Christmas rotation. movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's because like, just when Bill Murray is like, break a leg, everybody. I have a real weird feeling about tonight. That's one of the like, and because he's just all bewildered and shit, and it is. Oh god, I love it. I love it so much.
It feels people like Bill Murray and are just like genuinely. That's them. They just walk on stage and be the most of them they can. My aunt has a story where she was like caddyshagging, because you can do that out and she's in San Diego. And she will do the celebrity tournaments and be caddyshacks for some of these people. And she was doing that. I forget the celebrity. Maybe, yeah. He was a C-lister.
Okay.
But she was just walking through the course. And
Dax
she almost,
Shepard.
She almost tripped. And she looked down, and it was Bill Murray, who was just laying in the middle of the golf course. And he's just like, hey. She's like, oh, sorry, I almost stepped on you. It wasn't like on the path. She was just out in the middle of it, and
he's just laying down,
kicked back.
just having himself a little sun bath, soaking it in like a cat.
Yeah, well, he was frequently sighted around the Twin Cities because he like owns like part of like a minor league baseball team up there.
What?
And like, so there would be Bill Murray sightings, and I prayed when I lived in Minneapolis. I prayed like one of these times because like there was something he did that he confirmed it was true. He walked up to somebody at a restaurant, took a French fry off their plate, ate it, and just looked at him and said, no one's ever going to believe you.
And then
walked
dipped off.
away.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I totally did that. Like, I'm like, that is some fucked up shit if you think about it. Like,
There's pictures of him doing dishes at frat parties that he wasn't invited to, where he would walk in, check on the keg, and then just start cleaning up for them. And not say anything.
Did you ever hear the story about him and Dead Mouse, where they just went into a bar, they started bartending, and no matter what anybody asked for, it was just shot of tequila. Like, they took over a bar for it.
I'm here for it.
That's
All of
amazing.
that. Like, that's to have that type of social power.
What would you do with
Like-
celebrity? That's the answer.
Chaotic
Like,
good, exactly.
yeah,
I
like-
would be chaotic good.
Yeah, that'd be the best. I would, because I'm the person like, I love you.
Thank you for the tequila.
Like, Thank you. Oh,
If you had that sort of notoriety and like lovability, how would you fuck with the world?
I don't know. I feel like it would involve baked goods of some kind. Like I would just drop. People would be like, "Where are these fucking cupcakes keep coming from?" Like, because I would just like because I don't. If anyone's ever went to a bakery, like a good bakery, it's expensive. Like
You were a professional baker.
Oh yeah, well, it's funny because I talk about this because I'll bake something for the family and they'll be like, "It looks like a professional did these." And I'm like,
It did.
"Yeah."
Paid for that a little bit.
But I also had a grandma that kept my ass in the kitchen from the time I was like 4 years old because she was German as hell. So it was like,
they bake.
oh hell yeah, they do. And
Strudel.
oh boy,
I like how their pastries are all
Strudel.
famous, and
Why
then
is
it's
that
like,
the example?
German.
Black Forest
okay,
cake.
yeah, there's another one. But all the pastries are like famous, and then
Yeah.
it's like, what kind of like dishes do they have? It's like Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wiener Schnitzel.
We gave up on meat and we just started baking.
Oh, dude, I have a stack of recipes from like my great grandparents that were like German as hell. Like, yeah, their last name was Heim.
Time.
Hein or Hein.
Either
Yeah.
way,
It's German as hell. And,
Yeah.
I might be going deaf. It sounded like you said the same thing each time.
yeah, exactly.
It's just so close.
Right.
Might be Hein or Hein
I
or
would
Hein.
like, I would
Might
like
be
to
Hein.
thank the Ohio Valley Allergies for my not being able to pronunciate.
yeah. We're kind of a like bog down here, that Ohio River
Oh,
Valley.
God, I
it's
hate
got a
it.
special
It's the
fungus.
I hate it
A
so
special
much.
fungus?
Yeah, there's a breathing fungus that everybody who lives here has.
Yeah. There's ENT
You have it.
doctors that move to this region to make more money. Like, because of, like, right now, so many people I know are like, you too. I'm like, fuck yeah, man, all day, every day. I'm like, I can't breathe. So,
You
yeah.
can't just tell me there's a fungus in me that I didn't know about, and then we're just gonna move past that. Like I can think about anything else other than the organism I didn't know was inside my body. That you two looked at me very, very confidently. We're like, yeah, it's there. Let's talk
Yeah.
about something else.
Yeah. It's also a little bit of Teflon. It's fine.
And you're full of plastics too.
Yeah.
But when I read that, it's
Am I a
like,
trash?
You're all going to die.
I caught that when I was in second grade. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
What
Like,
you just
You found that out in second grade?
no. That's when I actually got the fungus because I moved here from Atlanta. Atlanta's like fine.
Oh, you used
Yeah,
to be
I had
pure, and then you
no-
were contaminated. By
oh no, I had no allergies in Minneapolis. I didn't have any when I lived in Florida before. I come back home every time. Like, it's like,
That's wild.
this place is a shitbowl.
Oh man.
I mean, that's probably good as far as like the natural environment goes, right? You want fungus and
Yeah.
plants and animals.
not in my lungs, Luke.
Yeah.
We can have fungus wherever you
Well,
want, but
there's
not in my
people
lungs.
everywhere
Yeah.
else. Let's let the fungus have this one.
Overpopulation is really a problem when the fungus starts moving inside the population.
I don't know.
Real estate, man.
I've always seen the fungus among us, and I
Fucking
never.
opportunist, dude. Just like, hey, I know where there's a void. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to top that. You guys want to do an intro and get out of here?
Oh yeah, we got
So much fun.
Whoa.
We can do this anytime.
Absolutely. Like,
This
yeah,
has
you
been a
definitely
blast.
be back.
We can talk about movies all day or day.
Well,
Finally,
now we got a list to watch.
someone that wants to
Yes.
rabbit hole with us on that.
Hey, my brain, like, we started with Ash Nico. We ended up with fungus. I love it.
No
Love
shit.
it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Not unrelated.
She would be
Right?
proud.
I think she would.
She would.
I think she would.
Especially with her badass Coachella performance. Whew. Love that girl.
Is that
Ah.
available?
I've watched clips of it on her Instagram and
Hell yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I've been, because I think they just did a second weekend. So I can't wait to watch that whole, like, just hers. I don't really care about
Yeah, I
everybody.
have zero interest in
Yeah,
Coachella,
no.
but I would
I
watch
did.
her.
I did. I clocked her name on it.
Did you like her
Yeah.
live performance? She's just an amazing performer. Like everything
Yeah.
about. I have such a girl crush. I'm not even ashamed. Ash Nico, if you're watching this, come on down
Oh
to
my God.
Cincinnati.
If Ash and Nico was one of our Patreon subscribers, I think I would just stop. I just quit everything.
won.
We peaked. That's full peak.
Well, we're gonna make. I will share
We
the
should
shit
read
out of
the
this.
Patreon subscribers too.
Oh,
Do
there you
you
go.
want to do what we did last time? So last
okay.
time
Uh-huh.
we had the guest read the list of Patreon subscribers
Okay.
in the weirdest possible way based on their interpretation. If you're
Yeah.
willing to run with that.
Like just based on how I would read it phonetically.
Well, McGregor Lakes read it like we were holding him hostage for political reasons.
You guys give me the premise and then, or you want me to
yeah.
pick?
You have the list. You basically just say like, "Hey, these guys are really
You can
bad
just
at
read 'em if you
at
want.
doing." a
Okay, well, I was
Patreon
just
list.
saying, if you want me to do a certain impression, you tell me, and I'll.
What impressions can you do?
I mean, who do you want to hear me sound like? This is part of my comedy that I haven't really got to because I wanted to be able to get to like where I was comfortable with at least like a 15-minute set before I like honed in on an impression.
And like doing
like,
something else,
Like,
yeah.
if you want me to talk like Fran Drescher, I can do that. Or
The nanny.
I can do Lois Griffin.
Can you do each name in a different voice and just go down the list like that?
Yeah.
That's
What?
perfect.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're yes.
Yeah.
You can just switch back and forth between those two because those were both.
They're similar, but just a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you got other ones like
Oh yeah,
them on the
that's one.
table.
That's one of
Those
the
are
reasons I
great.
love improv because the impression realm in
and
improv.
just being able to snap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite things was somebody that was like, he was like, "All right, President Obama at a used car lot." And I was like, "I'll take the Lincoln."
That's
succinct.
Like he was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "That is improv." I'm like that because I love like Jim Carrey was one of my comedy fucking idols as a kid. I loved Jim Carrey. My
Yarp.
parents watched In Living Color, like so. That's another reason why I'm like, man, the Wayans. Like I grew up on the fucking Wayans,
Right.
with Jim Carrey being the only white guy on the show, and like Fire Marshal Bill, and like that's how I could do it. Like that was Jim Carrey all day studying. Like,
Have you heard? He had this shift when he went to the comedy store and he just stopped. He wrote a new hour or 20 minutes every night.
seriously,
He's just like, I'm not doing written material anymore. And they let him do that at the comedy store.
we've all ran into shit. We're getting
Yeah.
excited over here.
Everyone has bumped
Violence.
something.
that ended. I don't know if it ended, but at some point during that, he just got inside the piano at the comedy store that was off stage and spent like the next 3 acts in there.
That's so beautiful.
He was
But
like
yeah.
walking on the tables.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey did it